Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo. Kane, Lambert, Parker, Brett, Ash, and Captain Dallas are dead. Cargo and ship destroyed. This is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo. Signing off.
Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972 here. Of course, you know me as Brian. Anyways, Halloween is almost here. I've been watching horror movies, trying to do that for this month. I think I've watched 3. So not 3. I've watched 23 so far. Yes. I'm trying to watch one film a day for each day of October, a horror movie. And that few days I missed, so I would double up or triple up the amount of movies to watch. Since it's Sunday 3:05 in the morning, I'm going to try to keep it going and catch up to the end of the month. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying this, but maybe I'll watch 3 movies on Sunday. Technically, it's already Sunday, but after I go to bed and then wake up, maybe I'll watch 3 movies. But so I catch up to 26 movies, which would, because it's very early in the morning. It's the 26th of October, so I've watched 23 films so far. Anyways, this video is horror movie recommendations. I'm going to recommend films I've already seen. The films I've been watching this month I've never seen before. I was going to watch some movies that I had seen before, some horror favorites of mine. I'm not totally a horror fan. I do like horror movies a lot, but I like foreign cinema. I really like foreign cinema a lot. I like great directors like David Fincher and Scorsese and Kubrick and Christopher Nolan and Ridley Scott and Hitchcock and Wells and directors from foreign areas like Fassbinder and Fellini and Bergman and Antonioni and Godard and Kurosawa and Ozu and Teshigahara and Oshima, and the list goes on, But anyways, so I thought I'd do this video. I thought it'd be okay to do this. I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess. So I'm just gonna show you these movies. I think I'll put some music in, with some of my own music that I've done with this video. I just went rummaging around my apartment to find films that I've seen before that I would recommend. So anyways, let's get to it. So first film I'm going to recommend is some of these are going to be everybody knows these, but here's the first one. This is Halloween by John Carpenter. Classic independent hit, like one of the big independent hits of all time. Michael Myers, sort of an enigma character in this film. I've only seen Halloween's one. I think I've seen number 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5. I don't know when I'll watch the other ones, but I don't have the other ones except for another one that I'm going to show. But Halloween, that's a classic. Everybody knows that one. The starting of Halloween, you can sort of see echoed in It's sort of, I don't know if John Carpenter was doing an homage or just, but there's a film called Black Christmas. Halloween came out in 1970. When did it come out? I'm trying to find the date on here. I think it's 78. I'm trying to find the date. I'm like easy to find it here. Oh yeah, it's 78. 78. I just realized the next film I want to show is not in this pile of films right behind me, so I'm going to stop it for a second here and then continue on. So the next film, because I don't know if I'm at total consistency here on this video. Like I'm doing a little bit of grouping things together that are similar kind of themes or like certain subgenres or countries or what have you. But anyways, this is the third Halloween movie, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, which I like a lot. I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea because it totally veers off the Michael Myers storyline. I think John Carpenter originally intended for the following Halloween movies after the first one to be completely different stories, like an anthology. And I think I've seen the second one, almost positive I have. But, you know, in that particular one, you have Michael Myers again and Jamie Lee Curtis's character. So, but when they got to Halloween 3, it was made, I don't know who directed Halloween 2, but I don't think it was John Carpenter. But Halloween 3 was, it's its own kind of thing. Tom Atkins is in this. And Tom Atkins. So it's sort of a movie about a cult and this commercial that brainwashes. I'm trying to remember it. They're making these masks that can brainwash kids, and then there's this. They use the song "London Bridge is Falling Down," and they say it. You know, they change the lyrics to something. And now it's time for Halloween. It's kind of silly, kind of sounding the song, but it's a good movie. It's I can't remember who the guy that runs a factory is, but anyways, this is a really cool movie, and I like seeing who these people really are. I'm not doing justice to this film. Like they're using magical powers. How would you like it's a druid thing? Like they're part of a secret cult, and there's robots in it, and it's really. I'm not selling it well. Just watch it because it's really good. So, and you might not agree with me because you know. It's kind of off the beaten path. Well, the first time I saw it, I didn't like it. So, you know, I saw it at a Halloween marathon at the Jacob Burns Film Center. It was kind of, it was one of those films that they showed, and it was like the guy that ran the event, Andrew Jupin, who has a podcast called We Hate Movies. He and his other friends that do the We Hate Movies that you can find like on YouTube, I guess, and other streaming platforms. Anyways, they would make fun of a bad movie, and this is one of those ones that they made fun of. And it was only after a little while, maybe I saw it on Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In show, and following that, somehow it just got into me and I liked it. So next one, let's get to the next one. So I'm gonna keep on the path of like well-known films for just a bit here. I'm probably gonna have to divert from that to maybe films you've never heard of, and then back to films you have heard of, and then whatever. But anyways, this is one of my favorite horror movies. It's Dawn of the Dead. It's directed by George Romero. In fact, it's signed by George Romero right there. Stay Scared, George Romero, which I guess he signed people's movies and photos that way. I have a photo of him with me at a horror convention, and This particular edition has 3 different cuts of the movie. It's got the extended cut, the European version, and the US theatrical version. It's got a bunch of documentaries on here. Anyways, this film, the 3 Dead films, the first 3, he's made a few more than that. He passed away the year after I met him, which is another person I'm going to show in this video that also autographed a movie for me, and he passed away the following year. But when we get there, we get there. But anyways, so this film is just the majority of the film takes place in a mall. We have 4 heroes, 4 good characters. One's a helicopter pilot. 2 of them are, I think, in the military. One is a guy that works for a news cable channel or something, and the woman also works for the news cable channel. I think she's pregnant. You find out she's pregnant during the movie. It's got wild stuff in it, like a motorcycle gang breaking into the mall after they think, they've got themselves secluded from the rest of society, and it's like a commentary on consumerism. It's got some funniness, silliness to it. It's got some serious issues in it. It's very good. I'm not selling these films very well, but Night of the Living Dead, for example, is a film that put Romero on the map, and I guess I like Night of the Living Dead. It's one of those films that is like a milestone in cinema history, like King Kong or Pulp Fiction. But with those films, I like the Peter Jackson King Kong more because I think the technology is works better, and I think I don't know, it just works better as a movie. I think the way that the story is constructed and the special effects are used. But the first King Kong, I think, was 1933. Obviously the effects weren't as state of the art then, but I do acknowledge that it's a milestone in cinema history for special effects and just cinema in general. As I do acknowledge Night of the Living Dead being like one of the great horror movies, like a commentary on Vietnam and civil rights and racism, but it just doesn't hit me right. Night of the Living Dead. It's kind of it's interesting but boring somewhat. This one I think had a bigger budget, and not necessarily a film on a low budget is a bad thing. There's some films I'm going to show that were done on low budget in this video, and it's just as good. But I don't know. Dawn of the Dead works better for me. And I'm going to show another film next that's, in the Dead trilogy. Well, there's more than 3 in the Dead series of dreams. I think there's films. I think there's 5 or 6. And I do have numbers 4 and 5 of those Dead movies. I think there were 6 total. Anyways, this one's pretty good too. George Romero, I think, got full cut on Day of the Dead. But the budget he wanted, they had to cut down. But he got control of the movie. He got final cut. Anyways, in this particular film, we have scientists and we have the military, and they're living in Florida in an underground bunker, and the zombies are up above. This is really good with the conflict between scientists and the military, and what their roles are supposed to be in society. Like, how are they supposed? I think it was this comment on the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower brought up when he was president. Like, it's the corruption of the military-industrial complex. It was like showing how they could abuse their power, I guess, and the scientists trying to do things for the good of humanity. The only thing I don't like about this movie is the ending. I think it's a cop-out. I really wanted a more grim ending, you know, like the other Dead movies. And I sort of believe in that with the horror movies. I know the films, they're horror movies and they have people killed, and you know, some of them have like happy, quote, happy endings, you know, like a character survives or things go back to normal. And this one has a cop-out ending, a happy ending that I just don't buy. That's basically the only letdown of this movie. Otherwise, it's very good. This one, it's Poltergeist. It's fun. You know, it's a fun movie. This girl right here, she died maybe a few years after this film was shot. I think this film came out in 81, 82. It's supposed to be, I'm going to show another film directed by this director, but Tobe Hooper, who came into fame with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I'll be showing. Anyways, he made this film called Poltergeist later on in his career. He's passed away. And he's been passed away for a while, I believe. Anyways, there's rumors that Spielberg directed some of this film too, and he was working on E.T., I think, at the same time. Good movie, good ghost story movie, good supernatural movie. These movies, at least the first two are pretty solid, but I don't know. I sort of like the Saw. I sort of like the point of these movies. That basically the point is these people who are the victims of Jigsaw, the character you see here, who's actually like a conduit for this. There's this character. He dies of cancer, and maybe the doctors failed him or something. But he like, in a way, he might be alive in the first one or two, but or maybe he's dead. I don't know. He makes it so that people that are bad, he puts them in positions where he puts them into traps. In the first particular Saw movie, this guy's ankle cuffed, and he finds out the only way he can escape this room is to saw his ankle off. And there's a great surprise at the end of the first Saw movie that it comes out of nowhere. Yeah, I guess that guy's alive then, if you see that one. You know, the other ones, you know, it's just the same old, you know, where you see people that they're going to be punished through some vicious, gory way. But I mean, I sort of enjoy it in a way. Even the following ones, not extremely, you know, they're not my favorites of all time or anything like that. But it's kind of interesting how that works itself out. This is a movie. I don't remember who directed this. Oh, Fritz Kirch. I don't know. Anyways, it's based on a Stephen King book. I'll show a few other Stephen King horror movies, and this was one of them. Children of the Corn. It was done on a really low budget. It was done with Linda Hamilton as one of the stars, and Peter Horton. I think he's on some kind of. I think he's famous for some. Well, he was on something, and I can't remember what it was, but they get deserted in the Midwest, and they come across a cult-like society of children that like sacrifice somebody to the god, you know, their corn god or whatever. I'm doing a terrible job selling these movies. Anyways, so this character right here, Eli, is like the leader of the group, and then you have Malachi, who's the like second in command. But you know, things don't go according to plan, and it's fun. You know, it was done on a really low budget. It's fun to hear how they did certain effects on such a low budget. Some of the effects are kind of cheesy. I don't mind it though, you know. And speaking of cheese, this is a movie. It's a Saturn's Core label. And Vinegar Syndrome, I think, is one of the partner labels. But anyways, it's a film called Psycho Sisters. Christine Taylor, Pamela Suggs. This was made, you can find this out on the Blu-ray, but basically the plot is these three sisters get raped. One of them gets murdered. The two other sisters get put into an sanitarium. When they get out, they go to like bars, lure men back to their house, torture them, kill them, and collect something of their. Maybe you can follow the thread of what I'm saying. They collect something that's only a male person would have, So I think that's a pretty good indication of what I'm talking about. It's kind of cheesy fun. It's got a punk rock kind of soundtrack. It was a short first that this guy made. Then he made, I think, another version that was a little long. Well, no, short first. Then he made this one. I think this was shot on VHS or Beta, which is part of the fun of watching this, the cheesiness of it. Later on, he would make a feature film version of this shot on film, which I guess is more slick and professional looking, but I like the cheesiness of this. There's some movies I own that has some cheese to them, low budget, kind of, not consistent shots and stuff like that. But, this is a good movie. I like this movie. This movie, I think, has Gene Simmons in it. She was in, she was in Spartacus, playing Spartacus's wife. It's got Cliff Robertson. But it's, let me see. Okay, I guess I'm going smooth right now. But anyways, this is mystery about, how does it go? It's like, I think she's wealthy and her husband's wealthy, and she hangs herself, and but there's something quite off about it, and there's like the butler has a role into what is going on, and things are not quite what they seem in Dominique. Actually, maybe the mate. Well, I'm ruining it. There's these twists and turns. You don't see things coming, like the butler, the maid, the person who owns a house, and his wife. They're not really who you think they are. That's what I'll say about Dominique. And of course, if you want to watch, I don't know if I've watched the other films. I think there's some other films of this. Yeah, like Friday. So those glitches happen on this MacBook Pro. It's 2012 MacBook Pro. Frankenstein. It's a good movie with Boris Karloff. It's one of the old Universal horror movies. I see that also Bride of Frankenstein is included on here, which I guess people regard as even a greater Frankenstein movie. I don't know if I've watched this particular box set, but there you go, Frankenstein. So be back with some more movies in just a split second. So next up, I have a movie I have two copies of, but I kept the first one because it's autographed. Jonathan Demme, Silence of the Lambs. It says 2012 when he signed this. He did a program called Rarely Seen Cinema at the Jacob Burns Film Center in Pleasantville, New York. And when he would show movies that like went under the radar, maybe didn't make a lot of box office, but were good movies or forgotten, or nobody knew these films existed. Anyways, I bought this a while back, but I have a much more sophisticated, much better one, much better edition. The Criterion of Silence of the Lambs. I haven't looked at it, and I do like the film Silence of the Lambs. It's a good movie. The acting by Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster is very good. But I have to say, I also recommend this movie, the follow-up, the sequel, Hannibal. I think this film gets trashed a little bit too much. I will say some of the scenes are cringeworthy, like the scenes where Mason Verger, played by what's his face? The guy who played Sid Vicious and Inspector Gordon. Oh man, I don't remember that guy's name. Maybe I'll put it down here as a. Anyways, man, I can see the name in the back of my head. I just can't make it come to the front of my head. Oh man, he was in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Oh, anyways, I think I'll just put the title of his name down there. Anyways, he's in this. He plays Mason Verger. Then you got, of course, Anthony Hopkins making an appearance, making his return appearance as Hannibal Lecter. And then you have Julianne Moore replacing Jodie Foster's Clarice Starling. And I thought she wasn't too bad in this. I think if you compare it to Jodie Foster, you're not really. You have to give this film its own due respect. You have to treat this film differently. It's not. You're not. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like Stanley Kubrick. It's like, after he had made 2001 and Clockwork Orange and Barry Lyndon and The Shining. Some people. I like parts of Full Metal Jacket. I just don't think it works in some areas maybe. But like when he made Eyes Wide Shut, his last film, like I think some people were upset. They're expecting a certain something, and he always wanted to change it up. So if you're expecting Silence of the Lambs, you're going to be in disappointment. It's like a cringe scene with Julianne Moore's characters on the Clarice Starling's on a stakeout, and that's kind of a weak scene. But I don't know. The cinematography is beautiful in this. There's a great opera in it. The locations are very interesting, like Italy and in Florence, where he talks about in the first movie, but where he actually is in the movie. The music's great. The score by Hans Zimmer. The cinematography, I think it's by Rodrigo Prieto. I think. Yeah. Oh wait. John Matheson is but the cinematographer. I got it wrong. I think Rodrigo Prieto did some of Ridley Scott's films. Dino De Laurentiis produced this with I think it's his daughter Martha De Laurentiis. And David Mamet and Steven Zaillian wrote the screenplay, so I think it has a nice ending. I like the way it resolves itself. I've watched this a number of times, partially because at the time when I first bought it in 2001 or 2002, I had less movies. So I would watch the same movies over again. But I think it doesn't get as fair shake as, Silence of the Lambs gets an easy pass, I think, compared to this. And I think it's a worthy movie. And this is continuing on the theme of the serial killer. This is the film Seven by David Fincher. I recently obtained the Blu-ray. This is what you see here. This is nice. It's got 4 commentaries. I think that Fincher's in each David Fincher is the director is in each commentary. It's about a serial killer who kills people according to the 7 deadly sins. Who's played by Kevin Spacey, and the cops looking for him are played by Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. The guy who plays Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket he's the head of the police in this version. In this film. But it's got great cinematography. I think Darius Khondji did the cinematography in this. It's got a great score by Howard Shore, who did a lot of scores for Cronenberg films. Brilliant movie. Still my favorite Fincher film would be Fight Club, hands down, but this is a good one. Then we got an Italian giallo film, La Casa con la Scala nel Buio. I don't know if this The English title, A Blade in the Dark, by Lamberto Bava, the son of Mario Bava, the famous film director. I don't know. I guess I've read differing reviews about this film online. A serial killer killing off these beautiful women, and the main character being a guy who composes music for movies for a movie score. I like the twists and turns in this. Not everybody, I guess, likes this movie, but it's just Italian giallo film. So, anyways, I like it. So, whatever. I think it's a good movie. So, anyways, that's Blade in the Dark. And I like how the score that the main character, the composer for the film he's working on, works in tandem with the actual real killings in the actual film itself. Not real, what's actually happening in the story as compared to what's happening on the work on the film he's working on. Anyways, so next up we have a great director, David Cronenberg, with Scanners, with people that can use their minds and do things like blow people's heads up, put a phone next to their head and telepathically blow up a building and stuff. It's really fun. The main character, maybe he didn't do films after this or whatever, but Michael Ironside's a villain, and he's a pretty famous Canadian actor. This is just stunning. I really like this. This is one of my two favorite David Cronenberg movies, and I'll show the next one in a second. But these are people that use telepathy, telepathy to do things to people, and they can hear people's thoughts. And this, I've watched this more than once, That's Michael Ironside there. I love the ending in this movie. It's really fantastic. And like David Cronenberg usually uses the scores of Howard Shore's. So Howard Shore does compose the music for that. And this other film, another one of my favorites, Videodrome, with James Woods and Debbie Harry from Blondie. I think it's sort of a prophetic message about, social media. This was made in 84, I think, or 83. 83. But I think it's sort of a prophetic message about media and the dangers of it. And visually, it's unbelievable to watch, So, like, sort of like ethics, the ethics that come with the responsibilities, the dangers that can come with this is before the internet, but like with cable, and you can extend it out to the modern day, and I think it still works as a film. I don't think Scanners or Videodrome have lost their power. Well, Videodrome would be more so in the sense of social media, but I think these films still hold up pretty well. Some films date themselves, and those films don't, in my opinion. So we'll go up to the next one now. And next, we're going to go to the following list of films. Okay, so this is a comedy. It's a horror movie I think it's set at Christmas time, but it's set in the snow. Jack Frost, a guy sentenced to death row. He's on his way there, and he gets in an accident. Gets killed in the accident, but there's some kind of chemical that I think the scientists are carrying in the other car, heading the other way, which brings him to life as a snowman, a killer snowman. So it's funny, I don't know. Maybe people don't find it fun. Well, no, I think people enjoyed it. I think Shannon Elizabeth, you would know her from I haven't seen American Pie, but you know she's famous for those. Anyways, I think this is her first film. So Jack Frost, not to be confused with the Michael Keaton Jack Frost. That's in another movie. They share the same title, but they're not the same thing. Anyways, start off with this one first. This is Roman Polanski's second film. Yeah, I know he's regarded as a creep and all that stuff, and he's reprehensible, you know, for what he did with a teenager when, you know, he's had quite the life. You know, when he was a kid, his whole family was killed in the Holocaust, except for his father. I think his father survived as well as what he did, yeah, obviously. And then his first wife, Sharon Tate, got murdered by the Manson family. She was pregnant with their child when it happened. And then he drugged and raped a young girl. So, you know, he's not a great guy, but I think he's made some great movies, you know. You know, there's some people like that, and some celebrities that do reprehensible things but make great art. And two of his films are probably my favorite, some of my favorites of all time. I like some other films he's done, obviously, you know, as well, but his first two are like masterpieces. They might be in the same level. But I didn't include the first one because I don't know if you'd regard it more, you'd think of it as a horror movie. It's more of a drama. That's Knife in the Water, which is one of the best low-budget films ever made, I think. It's one of the great debut films of a feature filmmaker. And there's going to be another film I'm going to show in this video that is another great debut from a feature filmmaker, which I think that other film by the other director is probably their best film, even though there's other ones that are pretty good too that they made. Anyways, so Roman Polanski made this film called Repulsion. It's with Catherine Deneuve, the French actress. I think the sister of the character that Catherine Deneuve plays is played by one of the women that was in one of Fellini's movies, La Dolce Vita, or 8 1/2, or both. Is it? I don't think it's Anouk Aimée. I think it's Don Fern. I don't know. Anyways, she's left in her sister's apartment for the weekend, and she just goes nuts and sees things. Oh, and that's another thing. Earlier in the video, I showed Day of the Dead by George Romero. If you see the starting of that movie, you'll see hands coming out of a wall. Well, that's Romero's homage to this film, the hands coming out of the hallway in the apartment of Catherine Deneuve's character's sister's apartment in England. So, but this is a really good movie. And then he made another really good horror movie, Rosemary's Baby, classic, Mia Farrow. She's pregnant with a baby, and I don't know. Some of you might have seen some of these films before, so you know what happens in some of these movies. But she happens to be pregnant with some very, very evil child, and I'll just leave it at that. And just the people in the apartment building where she lives seem very mysterious. The kinds of things they tell her to eat and drink, and the way they act. And it was shot in the Dakota, where John Lennon lived in New York City, and where he was shot outside of the Dakota. That's where this film was. I don't know if in the inside of the apartment, I think was a set, but the outside is the Dakota. And William Castle, who's a famous director, produced it, I think. And I think he wanted to direct it, but they had Roman Polanski direct it. Next up, this is a German film by Fritz Lang. He's made some pretty good movies like Metropolis, a really good science fiction film, silent science fiction film, and like I have a version I bought on DVD, but it's missing footage, which a lot of silent films have. A lot of them have been destroyed because of the material they were made on. I think in silver nitrate. So like maybe 10% of what, some crazy number, like 10% of all the silent films ever made is all we have right now, because they burned up so easily from the material they were made of. Anyways, this is his first sound movie. There's Peter Lorre right there as a child murderer who's based on a real person in Germany at the time. Yeah, his acting is superb in this, and there's interesting uses of sound in this because this is the start of sound cinema. So there's parts in this movie where you don't hear any sound, and there's parts where you do, and really interesting movie. And he made this film, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, which I think is a reference to Hitler. Very nightmarish. I don't know. I think Fritz Lang is said to have been a tall tale spinner, he sort of made up lies, supposedly Joseph Goebbels said he wanted him to be the head of the Nazi film department, and he escaped out of Germany, or got out of there before things got grim. I think he went to France first, then he went to the U.S. and he made a lot of films, Fritz Lang in the U.S. and he said he smuggled this version out, but there's differing reports, like maybe Fritz Lang went back into Germany before the Nazis took over, or when the Nazis were in power, or then he came back to the U.S. or it's kind of a gray area with that. But it's a pretty cool movie. So let's get to the next set of films. So, I'm not totally. Some of this stuff is sort of, in a way, not horror movies. It sort of verges on horror or horrific events. So like, for example, these next two I'm showing here, they're not horror like in the sense of monsters or, that kind of a thing. So, but in a way they are, sort of. I'll show them what, you see what you think. Anyways, this first one's called I Spit on Your Grave, and it's a rape revenge movie. It's a very famous movie. It's one of the most, probably very controversial movie about a woman who gets really raped, very bad, and then she gets her revenge. This picture is said to be Demi Moore. Demi Moore's not in the movie, but the picture is said to be Demi Moore. This is not the original title from the movie. I can't remember the name of the original title, but it wasn't doing good business when they had it on the original title, and then one of the distributor said put it under this title, and then it got the attention it has now. This film has shocked a lot of people. It's one of those types of films that is controversial. And it's a rape revenge movie, so she gets revenge on these people. I don't know if that's spoiling it at all, because I think she's got a blade in her hand here, so she's gonna, and that the rapes are gonna be more, and not the rapes, the revenge will be much more. She'll make them pay for how she was treated. But the thing is, in this particular film, there's reaction shots. You don't see actual. I guess it's you don't know where to stand on the line with showing graphic shots and showing suggested shots of people just reacting, rather than showing the actual thing that's happening. So that's why I contrasted this to another rape revenge movie. It's a Swedish movie called Thriller, a cruel picture, starring Christina Lindberg. So she is made mute. See, first they took her speech, then her sight. When they were finished, she used what was left of her for her own frightening kind of revenge. Banned by Swedish censorship. I don't know if it's still banned in Sweden. I think she needs a ride at the start of the movie. She's hitchhiking, and this guy picks her up, takes her to dinner, drugs her, takes her back. then he wants, what does he do? Oh yeah, he makes her a prostitute, and he drugs her with heroin to keep her to keep her to stay at his house, and she fights back, and he cuts one of her eyes out. And that particular scene where the eye goes in, where the razor or whatever, the knife goes into her eye, they use an actual dead body, and they cut into that woman's dead body. It's no joke. It's a real dead body, and they took a knife and they go into the eye. So it's it's convincing because it's an actual person, just a dead person. But then she gets her revenge, and but in how I compare it to I Spit on Your Grave is this particular film, you see very graphic, hardcore pornography. Maybe that's partially because it's made in another country, I don't know, but I think maybe why Swedish censors would ban this film is because of maybe the way they view violence compared to us. I don't know, but anyways, in a way I think this is better than I Spit on Your Grave in a sense, because the revenge is even more sweet, because it's good in both cases. They're getting revenge on the men that exploited them. I don't know. And the action scenes in this, and how she learns self-defense, and she's just ruthless at the end of this movie. I like this movie. Again, these two films, I Spit on Your Grave and Thriller, Cruel Story, or Cruel Picture, they're not for everybody. Expect to see graphic, horrible things, but they get their revenge. Anyways, let's keep going. Shadow the Vampire with Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich. Willem Dafoe plays Max Schreck, who played Nosferatu, and John Malkovich plays the F.W. Murnau, the silent film director who made Nosferatu. And it's like the sort of saying, like, was Max Schreck really a person or really a vampire, sort of verging on the gray areas to, is he really a vampire, so that kind of a thing. F.W. Murnau also made a great silent film called Sunrise, A Tale of Two Humans, which is not a horror movie, but really good. And he died in a car, I think it was a car accident in the early 30s. Just that's what just happened to him. This one's M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. I'm not wild about M. Night Shyamalan in general. I'm not a fan of The Sixth Sense. I think it's just kind of weak. I just don't... I didn't know that what the Bruce Willis character actually was like in The Sixth Sense, but when it was explained to me, it was kind of, I don't know, it's just bleh, And maybe I like Unbreakable. I think he did that one, but his other ones are just... they don't do it for me. And I guess they say he's gotten worse with each film, or got worse with a lot of his films, and he didn't match up to The Sixth Sense that people like so much of his. But The Village is, I think this one, I think a lot of people trash this movie. I like it though, because these people live in this village and they don't leave the village, because in the woods there's this creature or monster that will go after them if they go out there. But when the curtain is pulled to the side, you find out what really is going on, and I love the twist at the end. Anyways, that's The Village. And then, okay, so you're going to see some artwork from a friend of mine named Sasha. His channel is Mellow Fellow on YouTube. If you want to find one of his videos, put in like Mellow Fellow, and then put in something like custom sleeve or slipcover. What are some of the movies he's recently covered? I'm trying to remember. Did he do one on the Warriors recently? I'm trying to remember. I'll put a link. I'll put a link to his channel in this video, and you can go over there and peruse his videos. Anyways, so I have Psycho, which one of the first slashers. Maybe it was I don't know if it was the first slasher, but Psycho. This is a DVD. Classic film, the shower scene. I don't know if I have to talk tons about this movie. Hitchcock, a legend in cinema history. My favorite Hitchcock, Vertigo, the ambiguity of it, the mystery of it, the obsession of it. But my friend Sasha I think he made this custom sleeve right here, and he gave me the Blu-ray for it. So that's the DVD that I just showed you, and this is the Blu-ray. I think it has more special features too. I guess some people complain, the critics complain, one bad thing about Psycho is the ending, where the psychiatrist explaining who Norman Bates is and why he acts the way he does. Like if they took that scene out of the film, then the film would be perfect. Anyways, he made another great film, The Birds. I think in those days they had like a slow burn kind of a way of approaching movies. So like The Birds don't attack right away. We have scenes of people talking to each other and having conversations and just life going on as it usually does, and Tippi Hedren falling in love with the Rod Taylor character, and then she stays with a woman that was formerly in love with the Rod Taylor character, or might still be Susan Pleshette or something, I can't remember. And then Jessica Tandy plays Rod Taylor's mother, and the young girl in the movie, Veronica Cartwright, would be in Alien, among other films. This was 1963, I think, and then Alien was 79. So she's a young girl in this. Anyways, she plays the sister of the Rod Taylor character. But this is a really good movie. And this film, I think Hitchcock wanted to direct this, but Henry George Clouzot got to home base first on this. He got this film. He got the rights to this. Diabolique. There's this headmaster of this boys' school. His wife and his mistress kill him. They throw him into the swimming pool. They go back to find his body. It's not there. And the swimming pool is drained of the water. The water's taken out of the pool, and the end is fantastic. So that's Diabolique. Devil possession movies don't really work for me because I guess because I don't believe in the devil or whatever. But this one I do like, and it's The Omen, directed by Richard Donner with Lee Remick and Gregory Peck. You might wonder why I won't show The Exorcist. That's signed by William Friedkin. My copy of The Exorcist is the director's cut. I don't know. The Exorcist never really scared me that much. I guess it's an okay film. I don't know. I think it's a little overrated, maybe. I guess the levitating over the bed is kind of interesting. But I think this is a better devil movie. The Damien character plays the son of the devil. So, and if you watch Rosemary's Baby, that's devil. That's also about the devil. So. This is a movie that my friend Sasha made a custom sleeve of this slipcover. One of my favorite movies, The Shining. Of course, Kubrick. Obviously, he did a slipcover and a custom sleeve for 2001 as well. So he did all this artwork here that you see on this, on the ones I'm showing. He sent me these custom sleeves and slip covers. So. Isn't that beautiful artwork? That's Sasha's work. So, I'll give you a link to his channel with this video, so you can go peruse his videos and see his work. History of Violence. Again, David Cronenberg. I know I'm sort of out of order because I showed 2 Cronenberg films earlier, but this is another one he did. This is coming out on Criterion. I think it's already out on Criterion. this is the Blu-ray, and Viggo Mortensen plays this nice family guy, and then you find out about his past, which is not so wonderful, but very good movie. So let's get to the next set of movies. Okay, so here's another movie. It's an Italian movie called Suspiria by Dario Argento. I watched some other Dario Argento movies. I was thinking of recommending The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, but I can't remember that film terribly well. I know that Vittorio Storaro did the cinematography. He did the cinematography for Bertolucci's The Conformist, 1900, Last Emperor. He also did the cinematography for Apocalypse Now. I know that Ennio Morricone did the music for The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, and he's done The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, And he did that, and he's done The Untouchables for Brian De Palma, and he's done tons of movies. He did The Mission for Roland Jeffrey, and tons of movies. He's dead now, Ennio Morricone, but he had made 300, 500 scores during his life. He was busy. Anyways, Dante Ferretti, I think, did the stats for Bird with the Crystal Plumage, but I can't remember it awfully well, so I don't know if it treads on the horror genre. But this one, it involves, it has witchcraft in it. It's got this nice score by Goblin, so it's more atmospheric. I don't know if it's really jump scare kind of stuff, but it's an atmosphere kind of piece. I guess it's a giallo. Yeah, it's a giallo, I guess. Meaning Italian word for yellow, and usually some skin, some nudity with a slasher film. Dracula. This film I have mixed feelings about, but visually it's really well put together, I think. The makeup, the sets. The part where it's weak, I think, is Anthony Hopkins, who's a good actor, but his performance as Van Helsing is hammy as hell. And then Keanu Reeves, great, nice person. He bends over backwards to be nice to people. Like Keanu Reeves with The Matrix, he gave half his salary from The Matrix to the people that worked on the visual effects. There's a party for him, and he got there late because he was giving food to a homeless guy. The guy just bends over backwards to be nice to people. Anyways, he's in this film, and I think his acting is poor in this film too. That's what I was just going to say. And Gary Oldman, that's the guy. Gary Oldman. He plays Dracula in Dracula, and he's in that earlier film that I showed. Shadow the Vampire. He played Max Schreck, who plays Count Max Schreck in the original Nosferatu, played Count Orlok. And then there's two Nosferatu remakes, a Werner Herzog one, which I guess I decided not to show. Maybe I shouldn't show that, but I got a lot of things to show, as you'll see by the length of this video. And then there's the Robert Eggers ones, which I haven't seen yet. And this is, wrong way to go. First off, Alien. These are, my friend Sasha sent me the first 4 Alien films. I'm just going to show the first 2 because I think they're the best in representing horror films. I was thinking Alien 3 as well, but I don't know. Maybe it's the time length, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a little less strong than Alien and Aliens. But I do like Alien 3 a lot. So, I'll include another link, the Trash Picture Show, because he loves Alien. He loves the alien xenomorph characters. He likes Predator a lot. He's like quite the science fiction nerd. Sorry, Mari, but I'm calling you a nerd, but in a good way, But, so again, Sasha did the work for the custom sleeve here. He did all that work. And then he did this also for Aliens as well. So you got Ripley and Newt. So And then what he also did, he gave me new custom sleeves for those two films. So he gave me one for Alien, and he gave me one for Aliens. I think I like Alien just a little bit more than Aliens, but they're about equal. And then to top that off, he gave me slipcovers for the Alien movies. This is the first Alien. I will be doing a video, I don't know when, of all the custom sleeves and slipcovers that Sasha sent me. I think I've done a video before them. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll have to regurgitate some of the old titles I've shown. But he wants me to show myself showing the pictures. He doesn't, because I was saying to him that maybe I just show pictures and put music to it rather than me talk. But anyways, this is his slipcover for Aliens. So that's nice. And then I have the DVD box set of the Alien Quadrilogy. I don't think I'll open this up because it unfolds itself. It's a problem to just get it all back in together into the box. But it's got all the 4 films, and I think of all the DVD box sets I have, this is the longest running time of special features. I think it's 70 hours worth. So, you know, that's quite something else. You know, I'm gonna finish this portion of the video off by showing The Vanishing. A guy that's his wife is kidnapped and he doesn't know where she went, and then he meets the person that actually kidnapped his wife, and things go south from there. And Kubrick one of Kubrick's favorite films is this Vanishing, which is it a Danish movie? Or is it, I don't know, it's Scandinavian, I believe. So, yeah. But anyways, it's a really good movie. So, anyways, let's move on. Okay, so anyways, speaking of Sasha, I thought this is Sasha's favorite horror movie. So, looking at, my piles of movies and trying to link stuff together, like countries or directors and what have you. That I was looking as I'm doing this, in the process, doing this and shooting this video. I see one of them is Sasha's favorite horror movie, and it is An American Werewolf in London, directed by John Landis, with Griffin Dunne, and I can't remember who plays the main character, and the female love interest, I can't remember her name. The female love interest in American Werewolf in London is in the movie Dominique. So, just a cross-reference there. I know Sasha's done his own custom sleeve. This is an Arrow. Arrows tend to have reversible artwork. What you see there on the disc is the same thing. It's on the reversible artwork, but it's a comedy, and it's interesting because you see. Who did the special effects for this? Rob Bottin did the Howling. I think he was supposed to do this film, and he ended up doing the Howling. And who's the makeup guy that worked on this one? I can just look on the description here. Anyways, and it comes with this nice book. It's a nice comedy. There she is, female love interest. I don't want to drag this. Well, this film is going to be long, and this movie is going to be the movie. This video is going to be long. Anyways, so. Oh yeah, these are separate from the case. Now I remember. The guy who did the makeup, my brain is mush. Let me see. There's going to be a mention of it. Where is the Person that did the makeup. Rick Baker, yeah, okay. So it was Rick Baker. He would work on Men in Black, Rick Baker, among other films, the numerous films he's worked on. I had a friend in high school. He was a senior in high school when I was a freshman. And I don't think he works with Rick Baker currently, but he went to film school and he did makeup, and he did work for Rick Baker. And he did work on Planet of the Apes, and the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes, and he did the bodysuits for the apes, and then he worked on 9 Months, I think, with Hugh Grant, and then Men in Black. Yeah. I don't know if he still works for him, but anyways, let's keep going. Sisters, Brian De Palma, Margot Kidder. Really great twist at the end with what happens with our reporter. I think there might be indications. I think the slight racism at the start that has been interpreted that way. Anyways, there's this great. Well, a lot of the film's great, but there's this one scene where you see two things happening at the same time, one on one screen, one on the other, and then they meet up. Like this woman comes across this apartment complex. The other person opens the door. She comes down the hallway. Really cool shot. In the end, the twist is really fantastic. This is David Lynch's Eraserhead, classic. I think David Lynch has instructions. I think they included it on here because I bought the DVD long time ago, before I had the Blu-ray, the Criterion. He has instructions on it, like turn all the lights off, turn the sounds to something, all this stuff. This is one of the few Blu-rays and DVDs that I have where they don't have scene selections. He wants you to watch the whole film in just like one whole continuous thing. He doesn't want you to cut. I think he wants you to watch it in one sitting. And I think he did that on the Criterion of Mulholland Drive. Well, also, the regular Mulholland Drive DVD is the same. Knife in the Water by Roman Polanski has chapter breaks, but you can't fast forward through the chapter breaks. This is David Lynch's first film. Great debut movie. Done on a really low budget, but fantastic. I mean, this is an experience. This is like watching a nightmare. Weird, but beautiful. This one I saw at the Alamo Drafthouse, Shockwaves. The director of this film, maybe I'm totally wrong on this, but his name is Ken Wiederhorn. I think he was an assistant director on Goldfinger, with Guy Hamilton directing Goldfinger, but maybe I'm totally wrong on that. Guy Hamilton, I think, was the T guy, the production assistant on maybe The Third Man by Carol Reed, Orson Welles. So just some some trivia for you. Peter Cushing plays the head of the Nazi zombies. I don't think it's underwater Nazi zombies. I think there's only, that I know, 3 Nazi zombie films, and this is one of those Nazi zombie films. It's kind of legendary, this film, because it has one of the first electronic scores. Brooke Adams is also in this. You would see her in Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven. That is one of the most beautifully photographed films of all time, Days of Heaven. The cinematography in that film was Nestor Almendros. So, this is just a fun horror movie. And then I think David Carradine. John Carradine. I think the Carradines are all related to one another. The son, Keith Carradine, Kill Bill, who played Bill. There's a rumor. Well, there's news. he died of asphyxiation, I guess, in Asia, and he supposedly hung himself in a closet. But maybe there's fishy stuff about that. I don't know. Anyways, Carradines, that's just what I'm saying. And I think one of them was in Nashville by Robert Altman. Well, no, I shouldn't say. One of the Carradines. I don't know how they all relate to one another. This is a really good movie. It's Robert Eggers' first film, The Witch. Very suggestive, not like head-on, dead-on shots, that reveal too much. But the end of this film, again, here we go with the ending. Great ending. Like I don't really believe in witchcraft or anything, but the way it sets itself up, even though like you might think that the Puritans thought the devil existed and witches existed, if you see it from the framework of their own perspective and then you watch the film in that perspective, they make it believable in that sense. So even though maybe we wouldn't buy into witchcraft, it makes sense in the context of their eyes, if that makes any sense. He also made another great film called The Northman, which is like a Viking movie. Really good movie, too. So, check out The Witch. Really cool. That's the thing about cinema. Like, sometimes you don't have to be head-on, straight-on, like Psycho, what I showed earlier, which you don't see Janet Leigh's breasts, you just see reaction shots, the arms going like this, and the knife going like this, and you see blood going down her legs, but your mind is making all the, filling in the blanks. It's like Scarface, Al Pacino, when he's handcuffed in the shower, the shower in the bathroom, and you see blood hitting his face, and you think you see the you're thinking in your mind, you see the chainsaw go into the other guy's flesh, but all you're seeing is blood hit him. So it's reaction shots, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has that same kind of thing going on when I get to that. But anyways, I will, later on. But The Innocents, next film. Deborah Carr, she's like hallucinating. Maybe she's seeing these things, maybe she's not. So suggestion can be a very powerful thing in a movie. Things don't have to be dead on. You can let the audience fill in the blanks sometimes. Not that gore, not that direct stuff can't have its place, because it can. But suggestion works good too, and Hitchcock was big on suggestion. So let's get up to the next set of films. Okay, so let's say you want to have some fun. Watch a fun movie, not some film that's mired in deep darkness and, murder, grief, whatever. Take this one for a spin, Beetlejuice, with Michael Keaton. I know there's a sequel. I think it's called Beetlejuice. I hear it's very good. Anyways, this came out in the 80s. Really nice, funny movie. Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, and Winona Ryder. It's just fun. So if you want to watch a fun comedy horror movie, here's your film, Beetlejuice. This next one is a TV movie. You may never heard of it. I didn't hear of it until some of the movie YouTubers I watch and friends of mine, then it came onto my radar, and then I bought it, and it sort of, it's a really fun movie. It's called Bad Ronald. It's a TV movie that was made in the 70s. What happens is he accidentally murders somebody, manslaughter. He kills a kid, and his mother hides him from the police. She constructs a part of the house where he's like hidden behind a panel, and the police come like a few times because they suspect he's there, but they can't find him because he's behind this panel. Then it turns out the mother dies, so his family moves in after she dies, and he's got the daughters of the new family are thinking things are weird here, or something not quite right, and that's because Bad Ronald is in the house with them. And the neighbor suspects something too, so it's a fun movie. Bad Ronald. Okay, when I mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre, here it is. This is signed by Gunnar Hansen himself, Leatherface. It's he says, "Brian, you did neat here," and then it says, "Brian, you're next, Gunnar Hansen." Let me see how. There we go. Right? Okay, there we go. So, okay, my nose was itching, and I cut that part out because I thought it'd be kind of gross or whatever. My nose was just itching and itching and itching. So what I was gonna say was Marilyn. I think was it Marilyn Chambers? Oh no, she's at the end of the movie. She's the last person. But they put Leatherface puts one of the girls on a hook, but you don't see the hook go into her flesh. You don't see a back angle. You see her from the front. But like I said, like Hitchcock's Psycho, the shower scene is suggested. You put those thoughts in your head. Scarface, the chainsaw on Scarface. Those thoughts are in your head, So, anyways, but that's a classic. It was shot like on 16 millimeter. Brought Tobe Hooper to explode, made him known. And later on, like I showed earlier in the video, he made Poltergeist. And I think he made another movie. I think it's called The Funhouse, maybe. And it's kind of forgotten, but they say it's really good. But anyways, so next up we got Hostel. I do have another film. I don't think I got rid of it, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to look in that box. I look for a lot of stuff, as you'll see in this video. But that movie's called Turistas. Hostel, they go to Eastern European countries and they cut them up. Eli Roth, I guess, is a gore guy. But like Turistas, I think sort of treads on the same ground because they're in South America in that particular film, or Latin America, and I guess they get in a bus accident, and then I guess they're trying to sell their organs on the black market. So, it's gore, This film, I'm thinking it's a horror movie or an existential kind of horror movie. Maybe it's noir in a sense. I'm thinking of watching noir films during November. Also, when I said I watched 31 horror movies this month, and I've watched 23 so far, I don't know when next October comes if I'm going to do that again. Because I know I'm showing you a horror movie. I'm suggesting horror film recommendations. But, I like a lot of other films too, and horror's not my wheelhouse or whatever. I do watch horror, but, I like other stuff too, But this is The Trial with Anthony Perkins as Kay from the Franz Kafka novel, which I read a long time ago. But it's directed by Orson Welles. I haven't watched this Blu-ray Criterion of it, but I had a DVD of it. I think I still have the DVD. And the transfer on the DVD was awful, the picture. But the shots were incredible to look at. This production design, the set with all these desks, and just beautiful visually to look at. So, he's on trial, but he doesn't know for what, So maybe it's like existence or something. I don't know. But it's a good movie. So let's get to the next set of movies. So now I got some Japanese films to show. When I saw this first Japanese film, I wasn't taken by it, but people were praising it to death, but I think I've grown an appreciation for it. It's the 1977 film That House by Nobuhiko Obayashi. He also made a series called The Anti-War Trilogy, I believe it's called, the Japanese, it's the World War II from the Japanese perspective, which I think I saw all three. I don't know. This is just fun, cheesy. These young girls go on a trip to one of the girls' aunt's house, and it's like a haunted house, but it's kind of kind of fun, just like gaudy, not gaudy, kind of just over the top. And that's when I got into that groove, then I understood what, that's when I started liking the movie. This one is Kuroneko. I think it came out in '68. Anyways, this son, or he's the son-in-law of the mother. I think he's the son, not the son-in-law. He has to leave to fight battles. Back in the old days of Japan, there were a lot of battles between other warrior samurai. So he goes to fight a battle. He leaves his mother and wife behind. They get attacked by samurais. They become ghosts, and I guess they become merged with cats, because Neko means cat in Japanese, and Kuro I think means spirit, like spirit cat or something like that. So after they're killed, and samurais come across their area, they get haunted by the spirits of the mother and her daughter-in-law. Very atmospheric. That's the thing about Japanese horror movies, is they're more atmospheric. They don't really go for jump scares. It's more of a suggestive kind of a thing, eerie sort of thing. Like, I was thinking of showing my box set of Ring, but I don't know how to I don't know about the Ringu series. I guess I didn't feel like suggesting it because I haven't watched the whole box set, and then I have the 2 American Rings, so I have other films to show, so, anyways, this one's called Jugoku. I think that means hell in Japanese. I found the first 2/3 of the film kind of, but the last third of the movie takes place in hell, and the shots in hell are beautiful to look at, in a eerie sort of way. And I think it bankrupted the production company that bankrolled this movie. So, but the hell scenes are worth watching. This film I watched recently, within the last week or so, called Blind Beast. This blind sculptor, he and his mother kidnapped this model, and he wants to do a sculpture of her. In his studio, he has sculptures of all these eyes and legs and breasts and arms, and then he has sculptures of naked women's bodies, and at first the model just she wants out of there, naturally, because she's been abducted, and the mother when she tries to seduce the blind son, the blind artist, so she can get out of there, the mother's keen on telling that to her son that she's not in love with you, she's just fooling you. And then the mother gets killed during the film, but what happens next you don't expect, and the twisted way it ends, that's the satisfaction of this movie. So I see this as a rewatch. I would love to watch this over again. Last of the Japanese films I'll show today. I think this is the last one of the Japanese. This is Audition, directed by Takashi Miike. I watched this on Joe Bob's Last Drive-In. Haven't watched my Blu-ray of it. So this guy, his wife has died, and he wants love in his life again, and he works in the entertainment industry. So he and his friend, they audition actresses, and then there's one woman he uses her, to supposedly cast. Then he starts going on dates with her, and then you see what she is like in her own private life, which is very weird. And then when he starts having a relationship with her, and then at a certain point in the film, and it's hard for me to watch, but it's she's not who she is, who you really think she is, so she's a little bit odd, a little bit quiet, a little bit weird, and this is a hard film to watch, the ending part. For me, maybe so other people can just get through that. But what she does, I don't know, it's hard, but it's a good movie, though. that it is. So okay, so let's get to the next set of movies. So these next films, I don't know. I guess they verge on the spectrum of horror, science fiction, action, drama, whatever you want to, put them in whatever category you want to. I think they're really good movies. The first one is The Terminator, which probably it does seem like a horror movie in ways. I think this is the film that made Arnold Schwarzenegger a star. It happens also to be the first rated R film I saw on video. The first rated R film I saw in the theater was Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's got Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton. As I mentioned earlier, Linda Hamilton appeared in Children of the Corn, I think the year before this. I think it was 1984 when this came out. But this is a lot of fun. This is one of the rewatchable movies. This and the following film never get tiresome. Of course, when I say that, I think you probably know what the film that is. And that is T2, Terminator Judgment Day. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I thought the script was better in the dialogue, in the first Terminator and the acting. But still a great movie, Terminator 2. One of the best visual effects films and one of the best action films ever made, in my opinion. And it still holds up, Some films date themselves, but T2 does not, in my opinion. Going back to Stephen King, Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma. Starring Sissy Spacek and John Travolta and Amy Irving. Amy Irving was Spielberg's first wife. Maybe people have seen this or know about this enough, but the prom night, when she gets hit with a pig's blood from above the stage, and how she deals with that. But yeah, good movie. I don't know how it stands right now, but in the past, when I heard Stephen King talk about the adaptations of his film, he said this was his favorite adaptation. He said his least favorite was Kubrick's version of The Shining. Later on, I think it's the 90s, ABC did another adaptation of The Shining. It was directed by Mick Garris, who directed he directed The Stand for ABC, my miniseries, and he's directed to other stuff. But yeah, anyways, Misery by another Stephen King film, novel that was made into a movie. James Caan and Kathy Bates. She won an Oscar for this, playing the crazy fan, the crazy lunatic fan. I haven't watched this in a while, but I haven't watched his actual Blu-ray. I got this from a friend of mine. He was selling a bunch of his movies, and that one and Carrie were two of those movies that I bought from him, as well as these next two. So this one, Steelbook, Ghostbusters. I have not watched this copy, but I've seen this movie before. And when I talked about what's that movie? I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. Beetlejuice. Yeah, so it's along those lines. Fun, a fun movie with humor. This other movie I got from him, Motel Hell. This farmer who also owns a hotel, and what he uses for crops, and how he, I think there's a humorous edge to it as well, I have watched this, all these films I'm showing you I have watched, there are films I own that I haven't watched, so I don't feel it's fair to recommend films I haven't seen. We're getting close to the end, but so here's a box set. I'm gonna show. I'll show three of the films. Well, I'll show the box set first. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street box set. I bought this quite a few years back. This is a DVD set. I know my friend Nate, Grief World, he bought the Steelbook Blu-ray set. It's got a nice picture of Freddy Krueger there. It's got the embossing of a scarred face, you know. But I really only care for 2 of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and the third one, I like the visual parts of it, but I don't think it's that great. First one I really like is the first one, Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a classic. I think Bob Shaye of New Line at the time might have made New Line become a big player in the film industry. He was head of New Line, and he told Wes Craven, "You've got to put Heather Langenkamp in a car with a convertible that has a red and black stripes on the hood, not on the hood, on the hood." But that's an indication that Freddy Krueger is still there. And then I think that's one of his suggestions. The other suggestion was the mother has to be pulled through the door, in through the window of the door. And I think Ball suggestions Wes Craven didn't like, but they are in the final film. And I think the only thing I don't like about that movie is the end credits. The music is cringe-inducing. I hate that music. You know. Nightmare on Elm Street one that I think is visual. It's got some great visual shots, but most of the Nightmare on Elm Street films don't work for me. Is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. There's like one funny part, like where this girl Freddy's in a television. His arms come out of the television on each side. He pulls this young girl up to the television, bashes her head into the window, into the TV set, and says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." So that's kind of funny. And then shots like where he's a worm or a snake, you know, and you see his face, and then the rest of the body is just like a worm or a snake body. So I thought that was a cool image. But I mean, this one has a movie called Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Of course, they just bring it back or something else, just like Friday the 13th. I have a Friday the 13th set of box sets, but I haven't watched Friday the 13th since the 80s. I've only seen a handful of them. And Jason Takes Manhattan is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. But anyways, and this is the other Nightmare movie I like, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, because how it treads on reality and fantasy. You know, it has the real Wes Craven in the movie, and Heather Langenkamp. So it's going on the area between fantasy and reality. I like that, you know. So let's keep going. We're getting close to the end. Okay, so this is the last part of the video. It's a box set. That's it. That's all that's going to be with this. It is Twilight Zone. So obviously, in this particular case, some of these films are science fiction. Shorts. No. Some of these shows are science fiction. Some of them are fantasy. Some of them are horror. So they tread the line. So I know it's sort of not totally horror, but it sort of is. And if you want to watch something short and not long, seasons 1, 2, 3, and 5, each episode is about around 22, 24 minutes or something in there. Season 4, they had the episodes were 40 minutes maybe. But most of the Twilight Zone it's my favorite TV show of all time, but most of the episodes work. I think a few of them don't. But and season 4 is probably the weakest season because of the length. Because when it's short and compact, it works better for Twilight Zone. And these are the original ones, the Rod Serling ones. I'm not going to pull it all out because it would take too much time. But anyways, Twilight Zone is something you can watch short, and you might be able to find some of it online, YouTube, Tubi, or whatever. So anyways, those are my suggestions. I hope you have a nice Halloween. Now I got to edit this, and hopefully I can put up 2 horror movies at the start and the end of this video, and YouTube will say we're fine with that, because like when I did a previous video, I tried to put 2 German movies, M, like I showed here, and The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant by Fassbender, and it blocked me, so I had to re-edit it. So I put in Fritz Lang with me and an AI shot, and a Fassbender with me and an AI shot. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to get this out as soon as I can, close to Halloween. And even if you watch some of these films after Halloween, we're in the Halloween area, the range, Anyways, happy Halloween, and have a good day, night, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
You are now in the deep end of horror. Shockwaves. Once they were almost human.
You mean to say that what we all saw out there is just a mirage?
It was a minor underwater disturbance, with a hot sky acting on a cold current coming from a mile down below.
Something unknown, something unforeseen, something unspeakable lives below, and it lives to destroy. They have risen.
We created the perfect soldier from cheap hoodlums and thugs, in a good number of pathological murderers and sadists as well. We called them the Toten Corps, the Death Corps. Creatures more horrible than any you can imagine.
From beyond the dead, from beneath the living, from the depths of hell's ocean, everything they touch will die in the deep. Shockwaves.
Give me the flashlight. We'll be left with nothing but that oil lamp. You don't need it. I need all the help I can get out there. Now let me have it.
Starring the masters of shock, John Carradine and Peter Cushing.
You are indeed very stupid. Now it is too late.
Now, the total horror has begun. Now, there is no way out. Now, the ocean becomes a graveyard. The faster you run, the quicker you die. Because once they were almost human. Shockwaves, the deep end of horror.